At 12:54 a.m. on March 3rd, 2002, my life was changed forever. I brought into this world a beautiful, innocent baby boy, my pride and joy. Then and there began my journey as the Black mother of a Black son. I knew what it looked like, what people have thought of me. I was only 18, unwed, still a child myself. My grandmother and mother were young mothers, and I hoped that I would break the cycle. But that was not the case. What people didn't know, however, is that when I was 13 years old, I was told by my doctor that it would be difficult for me to ever have children, that bearing a child was out of the realm of possibilities for me. The word mother was something that I never thought I would get to call myself. But then, at the age of 18, I lost my virginity. One time. That's all it took. Months after that event, I can feel my body changing. Deep down, I knew I was pregnant. I was scared. I was told that it wouldn't be possible by my doctor. I was afraid of the questions that would be raised by my family, my friends, and my circle of support. I was afraid what people would think when they saw me and how they would treat me. Looking back at it now, that fear was nothing compared to what lie ahead. Not for me, but for my baby. My son is now 18 years old, so humble and one brilliant child. He recently graduated high school and dreams of going to college to work in mass media, focusing on sound production. He has his whole life ahead of him. And every day, I watch him walk out the door. I worry about what people see when they look at him. I fear that he is viewed as public enemy #1 because he is a Black male. That despite the courteous, kind, and polite person for everyone that he would come across, that he poses a threat. And even worse, right now, he's an essential worker working at our local grocery store. At work, he has to wear his mask every day, protect himself and those around him. But this simple act is not viewed as him being the conscientious person he is. When he walks into the store with his backpack and his mask, people would never assume that he is an employee of the store. They would jump to conclusions. It is the depiction of the Black male criminal and the news that is so dominant, I could actually see the impact in people's eyes as they pass him in the aisle. Never did I think that my son would have to live in a state of civil unrest. My grandfather did, and he fought so that we could have a better future. Not just his children and their families, but the families of the oppressed. I know that this is not the future he envisioned for his great grandson. Here in Athens, Georgia, rallies and protests turn violent quickly. My son, my own flesh and blood, is a target. I knew that as a Black male, he would be a target at some point in his life, but he is barely an adult. And I hope that I have done my best in preparing him for what is happening in the world right now. It terrifies me that I have to warn him for when, not if, he finds himself face to face with racist groups and law enforcement just because he is breathing and doing things that he has equal rights to do, like everyone else. There was a sentence in an article from a journal I had researched that was jarring. According to the April 2019 demography peer-reviewed journal, homicides are the leading deaths in Black young people ages 15 to 34. Homicides. As a student, finding that statement while researching was jarring. As a mother of a Black male, was utterly terrifying. As much as I wanted to dispute those findings, I knew that it was true. My darling boy has an equal percentage of being successful to being a statistic. Why is it that when someone can show such promise in their future, that they have to be so painstakingly mindful of their surroundings so they can get to see that future? I've asked myself many times over the years. I never felt this type of fear for myself. I got to enjoy my childhood and roam with a sense of freedom. I mourn for my son, that at his age, at the cusp of his independence, he is facing restrictions by a global health crisis, restrictions by racism in the streets, restrictions by the burdens and weight of the world. He will have to bear it. James is 18, but I still see him as a 5-year-old child who relied on his mother to protect him from all the baddies out there. I should not have to continue to text him every hour when he is out with his friends, but I do because I want to make sure that my son comes home alive. I want him to have so much independence, but I am scared because if I cannot protect him from the world, how would he make it? He is my only child. He's all that I have. After James, I had thought about having more children. A few years ago, I suffered a miscarriage. So I know it's still difficult for me. But at times, I long for more. But despite the personal struggle, I worry if it is selfish for me to try. If I am frightened to have my son face the world, would I want to start over with another young child in this world? The struggle is real, and I don't have the answers. We grew up together, James and I just pray each and every day that my son doesn't end up in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people, that he can have the freedom to decide his own future, that I can go to sleep every night knowing that he is safe.